Bishop Michael F. Burbidge of the Diocese of Arlington offered a Holy Mass on January 30th at the Cathedral of St. Thomas More for the victims of the plane crash at Reagan National Airport. In a statement, the bishop said, quote, "We share a sense of shock at the sudden, profound loss of so many lives here in our community, both civilians and military personnel training to keep us safe. We grieve alongside the many who have lost beloved family members, friends, colleagues, and fellow parishioners, including at least 2 from our own parishes. We ask our gracious God to comfort all those who mourn." End quote. He also expressed his gratitude to the first responders who rushed to the Potomac River accident site and braved frigid waters and winds to search for survivors and victims. Bishop Burbidge concluded his statement praying that Jesus would console all in the time of deep sorrow. The horrific mid-air collision between an American Airlines jet and a U.S. Army helicopter on 29th January has left no survivors. Over 40 bodies have been recovered from the wreckage.
Hey guys, I know we have always tried to keep politics and religion separate, but in today's society, it's almost impossible because as you talk politics, you inevitably, you have to talk about morality. That's where politics are these days. If you vote Democrat, what you are saying is my moral worldview is upside down and supports evil. The Democrat platform, open borders, illegal criminals, abortion, whenever, and then they can never tell you why it's not okay to murder your 1-year-old baby. Like, you and I know why that's not okay, but they can't defend it. Yeah, you can abort a baby even after they've been delivered to the birth canal, but then suddenly if you leave your 6-month-old in a dumpster, now that's a bridge too far. And they're like, well, what is the limiting principle in your philosophy? You want to murder babies. Endless foreign wars, transing kids, grooming kids. They are trying to normalize pedophilia. Democrats support evil in every conceivable way. And so, yes, when you talk politics, you are talking morality. Morality is derived from Christian teachings, from the Bible. And so when you're in a church and you're like, well, my church doesn't get political, I think that is wrong. I think your pastor needs to stand up for what is right and just. And they can point out Donald Trump is a flawed man. He has made mistakes in his life. He has sinned in his life. And he's also the only choice against Kamala Harris. How does a church support Democrat communist tyranny? You can point out all the flaws of Donald Trump all day long, and everyone's comfortable doing that. But when it comes to itemizing all the flaws of these rhinos and Democrats and unelected bureaucrats and the establishment, deep state, suddenly they're out of ideas and outrage and saying, well, we shouldn't politicize this. So it's absolutely insane. I want my church to get to political. If your church support Donald Trump and the America First movement, find a new church. If your church supports Democrats or has a BLM flag still or has the rainbow flag, run away as fast as you can. That's not a real church. So good for this guy right here. He is calling out the sins of the country, of our leadership. How do you have a wide open border? It is absolutely wild to me. How do you say we shouldn't deport all these illegal criminals and then basically say whatever happens to these good American people, it happens because no human being is illegal? Like, it is absolutely insane stuff here. I can't even wrap my head around it. Find a new church if your pastor doesn't openly support Donald Trump, because if he supports Donald Trump, then you know where his morality stands. If he's out there waving some stupid flag that has rainbow colors on it, or he's out there saying, amen and a woman, or he's out there saying, I don't get political and it's okay to vote Democrat, even though every single policy position of Democrats is antithetical to what we believe as Christians. Guys, churches need to be political. It needs to be obvious where your church stands, because then you can go find a new church. But here's a great sermon right here from a pastor that is openly pro-Trump. This is the only position to take. And here is the prayer, powerful after that horrific DC plane crash.